When the sun goes down, Sacramento lights up. Bold, smart, unpredictable. Join Sky Alton as he shines his spotlight on the stories, the talent, and the everyday moments that makes our community amazing. And now please welcome Sky Alton.
Welcome back to the show. Summer's here, and that means it's time to get outside and make the most of California's incredible rivers and recreation areas. Our next guest helps thousands of people experience the excitement and beauty of the American River through rafting. Let's take a little bit of a look of some of their work. Yes, we have Kent Hansen from American River Raft Rentals joining us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You don't want to miss this episode.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kent Hansen to the show. Oh man, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, I'm blessed to have you. I can't wait to get into this episode because unlike other episodes, I was able actually to get outside with you and shoot some footage. So first off, let's just dive into it. How did American River Raft Rentals get started?
Well, it got started with Dave Hill back in 1974. He was actually rafting down the river with a friend on a mattress, and they may have had a beer in their hands, and they decided, what the heck, we own this property right here. Why don't we start a rafting company? So they went straight to the bar, and on a bar napkin, they did their research and wrote down what it would cost to start American River Raft Rentals on a bar napkin that's still framed today, and came up with about $5,000 worth of supplies. It was fencing, life jackets, paddles, rafts, and here we are 50-something years later. Wow. And still going strong.
That is amazing, man. Such history. I had no idea.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what makes American River rafting such a popular rafting destination?
Well, we are a rite of passage for Sacramento people. 15 minutes east of downtown Sacramento, and Bay Area's closest rafting. We are something for everybody. I mean, we're ages 5 and up. It's beginner rafting. You don't have to have experience. You don't need to know how to swim. And you forget that you are so close to the city because you are submersed in nature. And so it has become just this family tradition, and something just brings together people. And every rafting family will tell you they got their ice chest packed with all their favorite food and drinks. Maybe they got their music playing, their river anthem. They got the water guns, their water fighting with friends. And it's just something incredible out there. It brings people together.
Now I gotta ask, how old were you when you first went rafting, and what was that memory like?
Oh, I was 5 years old, and it's crazy because I have a 6-year-old daughter, and she started last year too when she was 5. And my dad was a whitewater rafting guide, and he was actually kind of a pioneer. So he got to do rapids that have never been run before. He was big adrenaline junkie, doing the class 6s, and it was always looking up to him, seeing him do it. So when I was 5 and he brought me in and took me down the South Fork, I was with my mom, and it was just like, it felt so big. You know, you're going through those rapids and it feels bigger than life, and you're doing what your dad loves, and I was hooked, you know?
Okay. Would you say that was the seed that planted the dream to eventually, do what you're doing now and owning, the rafting company, or?
You know, I always felt like my dad had some big shoes to fill, and I didn't know how I was going to go about, providing that lifestyle to a family someday that my dad had created, because he was a hardworking man, but he paid for his recreation on the side by usually becoming a guide or an instructor of all of his hobbies. And so I saw him doing things like hang gliding and ultralights and scuba dive instruction and whitewater rafting, all while he's working construction full time. And so it was always amazing that recreation was what brought my family together, but it was the hard work that got us there. So it was work hard to play hard. And so I never knew exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up, except that I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just knew I wanted to start my own something. I was hardworking. I didn't know how I was going to get there, and I didn't know what it was going to be. But I knew that for me, it was all about starting something that I could run with my way.
I like that. That's a lot like me. I didn't know exactly like what I was going to do in this type of industry, but I knew that it would be my own. So I can definitely relate to that feeling. So how has the company evolved over the years?
In so many ways. So, I mean, Dave Hill had it absolutely like turnkey, the most easy thing to replicate. He knew exactly what his guests wanted, keeping people safe, having fun on the river. Me and his daughter took over at the end of 2019. And it's like we had no idea what we were in for, because that's when COVID hit. I mean, we were told we weren't going to be able to open our first year because we were too large of a draw in the community. And so it was through that first year that I realized how important our company was. It was me saying that, if my customers can't rent rafts from me, they will find a different way to get on that river, because you're not shutting down the river. So they're going to go out on things that aren't suitable for a river, and there's going to be accidents, and we got to do something about it. And so I lost, a good month of my short 5-month season. But through that, we figured out how to create a completely new idea for our business. We had to adapt to COVID, but through that adaptation, we discovered things that I think brought us to where we are now. And those changes have been huge. For one, I mean, now we were told that everybody was arriving at 11. It was like the time to show up. And so now we have hour time slots for reservations. We used to have an hour-and-a-half line when guests were arriving, and now we can get guests on the river within 5 minutes. Wow. We had to spread out where people were meeting. So instead of them just meeting at our office, at our facility, we also had rafts available down by the river. This was Raft Deliver. It became hugely popular. We didn't know 50% of our customers wanted that. We made it so everybody could sign online in advance, watch the orientation video before they arrived, so the safety speeches got shorter. We ended up doing morning shuttle, so people could actually get picked up from the endpoint in the morning and get bused to us. All of these things were coming at a time when me and my partner, Sarah, were kind of thinking that the business was maxed out. Her dad had done an incredible job of pretty much filling up the raft yard. The parking lot was already full. We didn't really know how we could grow the business, and COVID created an opportunity through all of that fight that we didn't even know how we were going to get through.
I love that story. Because, for a lot of people, COVID was the time to sit everybody down, to think about what is important and what it is that you want to do with your life, right? So for you guys, COVID provides the opportunity, like, how can we change? How can we evolve? Like, what new ideas, can we implement? And to see and hear, what you guys did and the creative ways to, to serve your customers, I just think that's awesome. And I see it, because I am a customer, and I have been rafting with you guys, and I just really like how you guys have been able to not only sustain, but just, some people might say, like, this is all you can do with rafting, and you've proven that no, like there's still things that we can expand upon, ways to make our customers like happy, and just, you guys are very innovative. And so I really love that. So my next question for you, tell me about what can a first-time rafter expect on their trip?
Well, they can expect to go to our website and find out exactly what they're going to need for rafting. So because we're for beginners, we get so many first-time customers each year that we've done a really good job of providing what you need for your rafting trip at our River Mart, but also telling people in advance, because like I said, it starts with what's in the ice chest and the fun that you're bringing and the group that you're doing it with. And so first-time rafter knows that when they do come with us, the only requirement is ages 5 and up. And we're going to give you what it takes to have a safe, fun first trip on the river. And that's going to include a raft that's intended for a river. So we have multi-chamber rafts that are made out of Hypalon, which is a super durable material that's going to be able to withstand trees, rocks, and all of the nature that you experience along the way. We're going to give you your paddles for steering. To be honest, on our river, we don't even need every person to have a paddle, because those paddles are just for steering. They're not for getting down. We have enough current and we don't have very many obstacles. So really the paddles are there for getting you onto the river, off of the river. If you feel like racing your friend for a little while, that's great too. But for the most part, our trip, you get to kick back and relax. We provide the life jackets. That's the most important part of what we express, is like river safety. So wearing your life jacket, you're not going to have an accident if you stay on that raft and you're wearing a life jacket. It doesn't matter whether you know how to swim or not. Beyond that, it's all about making it extra fun for people. So like I said, the ice chest, the smiles, the water guns. Water guns are probably our highest selling item. And so, once somebody's come, I always hear it. I can't believe this was here in Sacramento. I've lived here my whole life and I haven't been before. And I feel like that's what just like the most rewarding thing that I hear when I'm out there.
See, okay, so what you just said right there, that actually leads into my next question. What are some of the most memorable experiences guests have shared with you?
So, we do so many types of experiences. So we do a lot of big groups, like we do team building activities for work, but we also do a lot of like family reunions. And when you see 3+ generations of people getting together on the river, actually I can speak from my own experience. On my river, we had a family get together and we had grandchildren, parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, people that actually said they would never do something like that, decided, you know what, we're going to give it a shot this one time. And they had the time of their lives. And so when you get those people that are somewhat reluctant because they have this idea of whitewater rafting and they think that it's going to be something that's a little bit too outside their comfort zone, when they get to experience how relaxing and beautiful my river is, that right there, when you change somebody's mind and you see that family get together, I mean, you even know from when you were out there last week with me, we had 2 people celebrating a birthday, and they said that they had not been rafting in 50+ years, and they were nervous about it, and they came in with nothing but smiles and saying they had the time of their life.
Wow. Just hearing you talk about that, like I said, the way you explain it and illustrate it, it really paints a picture of excitement and what you can find when people rent a raft with you guys and just have that experience. I definitely encourage everybody watching this interview to get out there and just experience it for themselves, right? With that being said, what section of the river would you recommend for beginners versus experienced rafters?
So we offer 2 floats. We offer a short float and our classic float. And I only decided to start advertising our short float as something that's, if you do not want to be on the river for 3 to 4 hours for our 6-mile float, you can now take advantage of our 2-mile float that only takes 1 to 2 hours. I think that's great for younger children who don't want to be on the river too long. I think it's great for families that aren't looking for the full day excursion, want to get on and off quickly because they have other plans. I mean, we get a lot of people who are just in town for work and only have a short period of time to enjoy something like that. So really the short float, it's not necessarily for beginners. I still tell people our classic float is still going to be where you get the San Juan Rapid. It's our only class 2 rapid on our otherwise class 1 lazy float river. And that rapid is actually something that, I mean, we do a really good job explaining what you're going to experience when you go through it. But we also tell people if you stay left, you don't even have to go through it. The thing is you're going to wish you could do it over and over again. And that's what's going to keep you coming back for more.
Okay, I like that. So how does weather conditions on the river affect operations?
Well, we are farmers. I mean, we rely on good weather and water, just like farmers do. And, you know, like if it's not 70 plus degrees and sunny, we're not going to be open. So no rain, nothing below 70. And clearly water flows are a big consideration as well. You know, that does make the shoulder season a bit challenging. We get a lot of people, especially from the Bay Area, that to them 60 degrees is still great weather, but we think we know best. And so we will absolutely put the guest safety experience above profits and call off reservations if we're anticipating bad weather. And then water flows, we've got an agreement with Sacramento County that actually is something that we have said is our safe zone. And it's basically 800 to 8,000 cubic feet of water per second, which doesn't mean a lot to many people, but it does mean for us like that there's going to be enough water to get you down without having to get out of the raft and push. And there's not going to be too much water to where it's too pushy and moving you too quickly, which makes sure that we can guarantee that our experience is for beginners and up.
I got to be honest with you. I am one of those Bay Area people that think 60, you know, is good weather. It's good weather. But I love that you prioritize safety over, you know, profits, you know, because not all businesses, you know, have that integrity. And so I love that you guys operate that way. So, you know, my next question is, have you noticed changes in the river ecosystem over the years?
Yeah. And you know what? I think that that's what makes the whole community around the river so special, is that we know that we are part of that fight with groups like American River Parkway Foundation, Save the American River Association, American Whitewater, and so many other groups that are making sure that our wild and scenic river stays protected. And that right there is an interesting thing that's developed over the years. I think we're realizing as people that sometimes we don't necessarily know what's best for the environment. I know that I've actually taken scientists rafting who were talking about the effects of putting up rocks against river bends and thinking that they were protecting a river bank, but then they're realizing 20 years later the repercussions of that downstream. And so things like that, I could say, you know, sometimes it's better to stay out of trying to change nature. The American River Parkway Foundation has done an amazing job protecting that corridor, and that's why I say it's so amazing that you do not feel like you're anywhere near Sacramento, California. Because when you are on that river, you are completely surrounded by nature. And I mean, when I'm talking nature, we're talking, I can see bobcats and river otters, beavers, so much wildlife that you would never think is thriving right there. And beyond that, I know that Water Forum right now, they are actually very successful in reintroducing small rocks into the river to create more natural habitat for the salmon spawning, because our river connects directly to the Pacific Ocean. And so we have a natural salmon migration that comes right up to the Nimbus Fish Hatchery. And every fall, right before winter, we get thousands and thousands of fish that come up and reproduce and have their life cycle. And it's actually amazing what you can just walk out and see thousands of fish right out there in front of you. And a lot of that is because a long time ago when we put in the dams, we actually cut off the salmon's natural migration. And so all of these things are now people realizing, hey, some of this is best left untouched.
Right.
And so really what's special is some of the designations that are given to the American River where we operate that will keep it natural forever. And it's special to be a part of that.
Definitely special to be a part of that. But I love how the salmon, you can start to see that their natural migration habitat is starting to return, right? Because like you said, it was cut off, which, you know, at the time, you know, we probably thought we were doing what was best, but now, you know, seeing the effects of that and seeing it was almost like the river heal, you know, and you're starting to see those fish, you know, come back and, you know, just the habitat, right? And so I love that, you know, you guys are very conscious of that, and, you know, you're trying to encourage people to experience the natural order of things without necessarily, you know, affecting it and messing with it, you know, because if you do, then it's not as enjoyable, right? And you lose a lot of those natural things that make it such a great experience, you know. So, you know, with that being said, how do you encourage guests to enjoy the river responsibly?
Well, we provide trash bags in every boat, and so we want to make sure you pack your trash. We've actually trademarked that, and it's just one of those things where it's like, it's so obvious, but so many people need to realize that we're sharing this river with Mother Nature, and I was always brought up knowing Mother Nature we have to respect above all. And so the truth is we sponsor a lot of river cleanups, and we let our guests know about that. So we want them to be collecting their trash as well. And other than that, the truth is like by getting out there, you're actually helping to support the river, because a lot of, I think awareness is the biggest thing, right? So the more people that find out about our river, the more people that get involved, and the more we can give back as well. So we're a huge supporter of all the different entities that are there to protect that river as well. So that's part of our bigger picture.
I love that. I think that's amazing. We're going to talk more about the amazing things you guys do at American River Raft Rentals, but we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Nawalyu from Sierra Overlook Animal Rescue, and you're watching Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Welcome back to the show. I am still here with Kent Hansen, and we're talking all things American River Raft Rentals. So my next question to you, and this might be a little bit unusual one, but I gotta know, have you ever had a celebrity or an unusual guest, like, someone famous or, come through?
Absolutely. So many, actually. So I don't know how I'm supposed to blast this, but Gavin Newsom was actually a very big supporter for many years, bringing his kids, and he with his home in Fair Oaks right around the corner. So we would do some special put-ins for him, of course, not to let anybody know he was out there.
Yeah.
Obviously we had the Sacramento Kings. So Vlade Divac for a long time was a very big rafter. He ended up buying his own raft from us because he came so often. I got very lucky. I did a segment on ESPN with De'Aaron Fox, who became a regular as well.
Wow.
So those are like the three that stand out the most. But, with the 49ers and the Sacramento Kings, we get a lot of athletes that come through. Gosh, there was another TV show that all the girls at the front, it was like bad. I don't know.
Man, I wasn't there, huh?
It was something about Bad Girls. Was that like a TV show?
Yeah, Bad Girls Club. Okay.
Yeah. So they came out one time.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. Now now you've had Sky Alton, another famous person.
Absolutely. The most famous.
There we go. The most famous. I have a fun question. If you could take anyone in history rafting, who would it be and why?
Oh man, somebody that could play the guitar good. I feel like I've never had a guitar on a raft, so I'd want to be serenaded the whole way. It could be like, Axl Rose or something like that.
There you go.
With Slash in the background, that would be pretty epic.
That would be, man. For the guitarists out there who are listening to this episode, you might get somebody hitting you up like, hey, listen, I'm a pretty good guitarist. I'll let them make that happen.
Let's do the River song.
Okay, so what's the most common misconception people have about rafting?
That my company is anything like whitewater. Whitewater rafting is its own beast. You have to have a guide in your boat. My trip is self-guided. I rent you the raft. At the end, I collect the equipment and I bus you back to where you started. I'm going to give you your basic instruction while you're out there, but those 6 miles, the day is yours. So my 3 to 4 hour trip, you can start as early as 9 a.m. You have to be off the river by 6. That's 9 hours. And I can't tell you how many of my customers like to take up that whole 9-hour day. They're, picnicking on the side of the river, swimming, and luckily on weekends we put down a chase kayak just to kind of herd the group towards the end and make sure they realize what time it is to try to get them all in.
So, first of all, I love that story because that would probably be me. I just out there, oh my God, look at the time, And definitely you want to get your money's worth. So I could definitely see that making a whole long day trip out of it. But what's your most favorite part of working on the river?
Absolutely selling smiles. I mean, selling smiles. Nobody comes rafting in a bad mood. Never even seen it before. Can't even think of what that would look like. Other than that, it's got to be that no 2 days are the same. When you're experiencing the river, everything, it's just always different. Like what's going to happen today? You know, like what are we up against? And I think even like just the flow of people coming in, it's just sometimes it's amazing how we'll have a line down the street at 9 a.m. Sometimes it's the 1 o'clock rush, and just all of the fun that comes with never knowing what is going to happen next. We get this amazing opportunity to be able to help people along the river. So, you know, this is going to sound silly, but you wouldn't believe how many people want to know what the valve is on a boat, where the air goes in, but it also releases air. And so they start turning that thing. And all of a sudden, I get the phone call, hey, this boat, you know, it's getting a little soft. First question, can you check the valve? Oh yeah, it's a little loose. Okay, what tree are you looking at right now? I mean, I could pretty much, you could tell me what tree you're next to, and I know where you're at on the river. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit a fire road or whatever it takes. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I bring a quick pump, get you back on your way like nothing ever happened. And that to me is what I'm talking about. Like no 2 days are the same, and it's gonna get me out there in my favorite place doing something fun.
I like that. I like that. It's almost like me here, you know. No 2 episodes are the same.
Absolutely.
And you never know what you're going to see, and you know the conversations you're going to have. So I definitely can relate to that. So for anyone out there who is watching this interview and loving your story, and like, man, that guy looks like he's just having a blast. He's having fun, and you know maybe they're in a different area. Maybe they're in the Bay Area. And they say, you know, I want to do what he does, and I want to open up my own rafting company. What's the biggest challenge, you know, to running a rafting business?
We call it raft rental prison. The reason why, that's a joke, but it's not. No one's allowed to die, get married, have babies during the summertime. Because during those 5 months, nothing can interfere. 7 months out of the year, I mean, I'm all family. You know, I got my 6-year-old daughter at home. There is some adjustment that comes with that. So like, adjusting back to being like full-time daddy, going to all the sports and doing all that stuff, to being like, I have to be very committed to work during my few short months. That right there is probably not for everyone, you know? And so I personally love it, but there was a lot of years where I was putting in that work and nobody quite understood, like, you can't take a Saturday off? What do you mean? Like, I'm your best friend, it's my wedding. And it's like, we got to prioritize sometimes, and it's nothing personal. It's that those few months, I truly believe that, you know, I've got a great staff, but, you know, I hire a lot of, you know, kids that are going to be high school to college, and then they move on. So there's some turnover, and it's like nobody knows that river like I do. Nobody cares about my business like I do. And so I'm not going to leave that at the hands of even my most excellent management that's been with me for so long, because I want to make sure that I'm there problem solving with everybody, making sure that when we have thousands of people come in one day, that every single person is going to leave with that perfect, enjoyable experience.
So basically what I'm hearing, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love what you do. So we're getting to the end of the show. We got about like 2 minutes to wrap up, but I want one last question I gotta ask you. For someone who's never been rafting before, why should they give it a try?
Because you're in nature. 100%, that's it. I mean, right now I feel like the world has become so dependent on cell phones and productivity and working harder, and now we're taking home our work. But it's like, we have to realize why we're doing it, and we gotta unplug. Put the cell phones down. Get out in nature. When you realize, like, the trees are glowing, the fish are jumping, the birds are out there, and all the bloom, the poppies, the lupines. It's like you go, what the heck have I been putting this off for so long for? That right there, to me, is the biggest thing that people are missing right now in our busy day-to-days, is just slowing down, unplugging, and enjoying nature.
I'm sold. I'm ready to go right now. No, but I think that's an amazing and beautiful answer, and I agree 100% that sometimes it's really good to just like unplug and get out there in nature. Even me, from my show, sometimes, like I said, I like to just leave my cell phone like in the house or in the car and just go out there and just kind of decompress, away from everything. Absolutely. And I think what you guys do at American River Rafting Rentals, you do a good job at that. So I want to thank you again for coming on the show. And before I let you go, I want you to tell people where they can check out your social media or website, and if they have questions, where they can get in contact with.
Absolutely. So everything is Raft Rentals. RaftRentals.com, Instagram, Raft Rentals. And you know, we're pretty easy here in Sacramento, so it's like we never run out of rafts. So we do take reservations, but we also take walk-ins, and we can guarantee a raft any day this summer. So come see us.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. And to the people out there, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's not too late. It's summertime. It's hot out there, and everyone should get out there and go get a raft and, you know, enjoy the summer, enjoy the nature. I'll see you guys next time.